Join us for an enlightening experience where you will gain a deeper understanding of the purpose and essence of opening your eyes. This is your chance to enhance self-awareness and personal growth with a shift in perception that provides a fresh outlook on life. Embrace the journey from consciousness to superconsciousness by Barrett Kunyan.
Michelle, welcome to the Bioactivator platform. It's an honor and it's a pleasure to have you here. And just for the viewers, just want to say, Michelle, I saw you putting out a few videos about, your tinctures and how fond you are with nature. I was titillated, and you really drew me to your authenticity, and hence the invitation. And thank you for showing up. And just for the viewers out there, can you tell us a little bit about your background, reference to, because we had a beautiful chat prior to this, and you've got so much that you're bringing so much to the table. But let's just kick off, if we may. Just tell us a little bit about your background and where your journey really took off. So I'll hand the mic to you. Thanks, Michelle, for coming up.
No, thank you. Thank you for thank you for reaching out, and we were friends anyway on Facebook. Thank you for that, and I appreciate your work and what you're doing as well to connect with people and bring people together. Unite instead of just acknowledging people. And for people for who they are, So yeah, my journey really started. I've been asleep all my life, like many other people. And in 2019, I gave up drink. Alcohol was my rapacious creditor all my life since a teenager. And as soon as I started drinking, that was it. It lit me up.
Yeah.
I felt complete. I felt like I'd found my best friend. Yeah. And that was my best friend all my life, and I gave it up because I don't know, I just reached the road with it. In 2019, I just woke up one morning and I was just fed up of going around the hamster wheel every single day. And I just inherently knew, but I wasn't consciously awake then, of my own soul, and I just knew there was something else to life than just this. And I didn't drink every single day, but when I drank to excess. I'm like an all or nothing person, and I just looked in the mirror this morning. I got up and I thought, I've had enough of this. And I looked into my soul in the mirror and the bathroom. I just looked and I thought, I just don't want this in my life anymore. This is not who I am supposed to be. But I didn't know what I was supposed to be or who I am or who I was. And it's as if I addressed my soul and I woke up and it just left. It just left. So I don't know if it was a miracle or whether it was just my time to be aware of myself. But something happened, and that was the 6th of April 2019. And that was it. That was it. So I was on a journey of starting to become whole again, because alcohol filled that void. That there's something missing all my life, and I didn't know what it was. I was brought up by my mum as she was a single parent. So my real dad didn't want to know. So looking back, there's 50% of the deficit there. I felt not complete, really, in respect of that. And I was searching for something and I didn't know what I was searching for. I always felt lost. And I always felt different from people, even in school. The teacher was pulling me in the first day, and my mum was pushing me in. And I did not want to go in that classroom at 4 years of age. I didn't want to be in the establishment even then, you know. I think I just looked at that globe on the desk and I thought, get me out of here. So, and I just didn't fit in. I just didn't fit in. And anyway, I gave the alcohol up, and that was the start of a beautiful journey. Painful one, but still beautiful, because that's how we grow. That's how
Absolutely.
I grow. And that was it. And I even was in a relationship that was wrong.
Yeah.
But you attract what you are.
Yeah.
So when I met this partner, he was a drinker as well. That was it. So, but once I was starting to change, and I didn't do it consciously, I don't know what happened. I just started to change. I think I was being prepared for something that was coming,
Yeah.
but I didn't know what it was, you know? So he had to go as well. Yeah, that was just the start of me starting to become, starting to sort of rid things out my life that weren't serving me,
Yeah.
that wasn't going to serve my purpose of what I was meant to do, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
in the meantime, my poor mother passed away quickly,
Sorry.
abruptly. That was in the March 220. Sorry, the January 220.
Yeah.
And that was horrific. And, you know, I'm an only child, and we were so close all our lives, and that was extremely painful. But it was such a privilege and a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful experience, if there can be one, to be there for your mother, sober, together, to be there for her in her
Yeah.
final hours. And that made everything just worth it. I got through that, and you know what? I didn't even think about picking a drink up, Barrett. It didn't even enter my mind to numb the pain. So what does that say? What does that say? Normally it'd be like, oh, I need a drink to cope with the stress, or I need a drink to cope with the pain, but it didn't even come into my head. And it just went. And I coped with that. We did the funeral, and I was sober and conscious through that, and being aware of every detail that I knew that my mum would like. So I was starting to become selfless. And it's just a beautiful journey. And of course, in March 220, all this kicked off.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the heck it was. I was in a weird place at that time anyway. I was still grieving. I was still working. I was in a workplace where I was the only one that had the beliefs that I had at the time. And I didn't know what they were, but I just wasn't going with it. I just knew
Yeah.
that it wasn't sitting right with me. I'd take the dog for a walk. It was like a ghost town. People were wearing masks in the street. They were crossing over. And I was like, this is like the Twilight Zone. I don't belong here. What's up with these people? Can't they see it? You know, and I was just like, so it was a journey, and it still is a beautiful journey. But everything was I was starting to become whole again. If that makes any sense. Looking back 4 years ago, I was starting to become, even now I get shivers, I was starting to become who I was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Because I've messed it up all my life, you know, and it was just incredible. So my partner went, I got shut of him. So he went, and it was as if I needed to be on my own. I needed to heal. I need to address the traumas I was still carrying, and going from relationship to relationship and projecting my insecurities onto them. And no wonder they messed up my relationships when you think about it. How can you love anybody else when you don't love yourself? And I didn't love myself, you see, Barrett. Really. Really. The gritty stuff that really matters. I didn't value myself. because I thought I was valueless. I didn't think I was worth anything. And that is such a waste of a life to think like that. But that's the mindset I had. And I haven't got that today. So that's beautiful. And I'm forever grateful for this beautiful gift that's been given. And I went to Alcoholics Anonymous. I went to church. I went to self-help groups. None of them worked. I had to go in. And I didn't know I had to go in. But that is the only place we will seek the answer. We will never seek it outside of ourselves because it doesn't work. You know, getting a boyfriend or a girlfriend to fill the gap, getting a nice shiny car to make yourself feel a bit better, to elevate your ego and your status, and oh, look at me now. Yeah. It doesn't work. I've had the white Range Rover. I've driven about like I thought it was the bee's knees. It doesn't work because it's all false.
Yeah.
And now I'm complete picking weeds from the Mother Nature, from Mother Earth, and alchemizing now. Alcohol was the master of me, but now I'm the master of the alcohol, you see. And this is alchemy for you at its finest. And this is alchemy, and I am living proof of that. To alchemize your worst demon that's had you in chains all your life, and now it works for me. Wow. If anybody understands that, they know what I'm talking about. And it doesn't even wave at me anymore. It doesn't even tempt me. I'm not even tempted as I'm pouring vodka into my tinctures. Drink me, drink me. It doesn't have that. You know in Alice in Wonderland, when it had drink me, it's gone. It doesn't the hold over me is gone, because I know that I am, and this is without ego, I am more powerful now than I have ever been in my life. With that inner power, the inner knowing that there's more to life than just surviving and existing. You know, we are here to thrive, to live, to use the gifts that were given to us, to share that with other people, to touch other people's lives in a good way, with good heartfelt intentions. And we know the people who've got a good heart, and it's a beautiful life. And we can also see the ones that haven't, and we won't be fooled anymore. And these truth glasses now, once you've got these glasses on, Barrett, they don't come off, do they? So what can you say? I mean, and it's just every day is a learning curve in here and in this realm. And I do feel, and I do truly believe, and it isn't the word because it's got lie in it, I truly feel now, because everything is about feeling now, isn't it? That there's more than this. And I was nearly struck by lightning when I was a child. There was a lightning bolt. It was awful, and it traumatized me. But later on in life, I was lying there one night in my bed, and it was lightning, and I was like, oh gosh, I hate this. I don't like it. And I just didn't like it. But this voice, and I don't know whether it was my higher soul or my higher self, or it wasn't a voice I wasn't used to. It was a familiar voice, and it quietly I didn't hear a voice, like, you know, hearing things, but something inside me said, even if that lightning strikes you now, it is not the end.
Right.
And that was years ago. But now I look back and I think, I know it's not the end. We never die. Energy can't die. It just transforms. Like I've transformed the alcohol.
Yeah.
We transform, our energy goes to a different realm. And this is, you know, this is like, we're in really this realm. We're in really the realm where we are oppressed, where we're given rules, where we're suffocated, where we are told what we can do and what we can't. We're not living freely at all. People think we're living freely. We're not. We're just free-range chickens, really. We think we're free, but it's when we have that true freedom, it's of the mind.
Yeah. It's a state of mind, isn't it? And that peace of mind that you carry, that's the impression you leave everywhere. It seems to be a universal language as well. It's not, you you speak German, English, French. These are just labels that keep humanity separated. But when you rise above that, you become an observer of the game, because it's a game. And my take was to play, but without necessarily winners or losers, but just be in that place of observation. And no, thank you for sharing that, Michelle. I mean, it's a very captivating, very amazing. I just take my hat off to you in terms of also the fact that you're bringing so much to the table for people. You're a beautiful bridge for people to. I mean, I would say people can feel your energy, and I certainly did. And I'm really enjoying our connection. Where do you think? I mean, in terms of, I mean, we don't need a crystal ball. I mean, because the way I feel that we are having an immediate impact when we have that awakening process. We are now conscious, aware of creating a new paradigm. Do you feel it's important for people collectively to start imagining this paradigm? And what I mean by that is, like, I envisage a place where we don't need armies and police and schools and even cemeteries, because I feel that when it's your time, you will just become, activate that rainbow body, and you will just become light. So this carbon-based, whatever you want to call it, it will just turn to that crystalline formation of light, and it will you become invisible to a certain level of consciousness. Do you feel that this new paradigm, do you feel it's already here? Do you think it's around us, that when people start letting go of the artificiality and the fear-based energy?
I do personally feel, I personally feel in my life, whether I'm more, they say your world is according to how you are inside. And at the moment in my life, I'm generally calm. I'm generally peaceful, and I'm so grateful for the life that I have. And it is a simple life, but it's what I want. I'm so, because I'm absorbing everything. I've got time to absorb nature. I see the sun come up and I see the sun go down. And I'm so blessed with that. And I can see all the changes. And more so with us, we can feel the changes. There's definitely, for me, I feel there's definitely a shift there, but I can also zoom back down again, back to Michelle mode, and snap back into my old self, and that includes the old. Because if I'm in the mood, or if I'm in a negative state of mind, you can bet your bottom dollar that we are magnets, and we will attract that back, and it will just be, and things will stick on you like Velcro. It will be like, but if you start the day being open and grateful and thankful, and thank you for breathing, thank you for waking up, thank you for an opportunity for another day. Let's see what we can do today. Sometimes you might not feel in the mood. You might not feel like going at 80 miles an hour that day. You might just feel like having a day of, looking after yourself, absorbing yourself. I've got tuning forks. I've got singing bowls. I'd listen to the 432, 528, 639, whatever 963 frequencies. You know, even you know, home has got in. You know, home, the earth. You know, the frequency of the earth is 7.83 hertz. Isn't that the same as your heart? You know, when I'm balanced and I'm not off beam, then my day's great. But when I'm off beam anyway, that's my gauge where everything else goes wrong externally as well, you know? So generally, I have more calm days now because I'm not fighting anymore. I've never been to protest and things, but I've gone through the angry stage. I've gone through the wake up, why won't they listen to me? You know, when I was in the workplace, I got called all sorts because I was the odd one out with I didn't believe what was being told to me. I just felt as if I was more intelligent than that to just be taken in by what they're telling me, and it just didn't make sense. It didn't resonate with me, and I didn't feel that was right when it first kicked off. I didn't know what was going on, and we all didn't, but I just knew it wasn't right. And then it started to unfold, and I knew it wasn't right. But I was treated terrible in workplace. I was told it's people like me that are dinging other people because I wouldn't put the up my. And the times I had the personnel manageress come in, tone it down with your conspiracy thing. I'm like, what she called me? She called me once with your extremist, with the extremist views. And I was like, what? Did you just call me? And I couldn't believe it. And I wouldn't let her go. I wouldn't let it go. And she wasn't happy at all. But I said, don't you ever try and put that on me, you know? So yeah, that wasn't a good time for me, and it seemed to make me very upset. I used to go home crying every night from work, and I thought this is soul destroying because I don't belong here. I don't belong here. So I left there, and I seem to have flourished from there. And coming into my own now, I've realised that nature's just opened the door, and I've just embraced it and connected with it, and I enjoy it, and I am one with nature now. And that's not me, Barrett, because I used to go out and get drunk. I used to go out and make a show of myself. I used to think I was it. I used to get dressed up and put makeup on and think I was it. With ego. And it's so false. Looking back, it's such a false life. But once you realise that all these exterior frills and shiny bits that attract you and think that they'll fix you, they really don't. They really don't. And that's just my experience. And I love it. I love finding out. I'm a digger. I love finding out about the medicinal properties in weeds, for example, and what they can do for you. A simple dandelion, you wouldn't believe. And it's having that connection and relationship. You look after nature, nature will look after you.
100%.
You know? And, you know, we are born of a seed, and we are nurtured. We are loved. We're cared for. We're watered. We're fed. We're nourished from the sun. Ain't that for plants too?
Absolutely.
So, you know, so you start to get a little bit protective of the plants and the trees, and you can see the seasonal growth and this, you know, when the leaves are dying back, because nature needs a rest too. Nature needs a break in the autumn. Nature needs a break in the winter from all that growing its fruit. And it, you know, we are the seed that grows into a fruit. So are we going to go into a good fruit, that can help other people, or are we gonna go into a bit of a sour grape, or a bit of an apple that goes bad and affects everything else around it with its badness, and the others get infected as well with mold, or
Yeah,
we have to be nurtured as well, and so does nature.
absolutely.
And more than ever, Barrett, at the moment, nature has a mind of her own, but we need to work in that correlation with it, and we need to look after and protect it, because at the moment, everything seems to be against organic nature, doesn't it? At the moment, everything is, let's do everything else apart from go back to your roots and organic. I mean, years ago they used the herbs of the land to heal. For every ailment, there's a cure in nature, they say, although we're not allowed to use that word. But there's something that can help us with, and that's what our ancestors did, isn't it? And if we don't keep this going, it's going to be eradicated from the education system before you know it. That's if the children will be going to school in the future, and it will be, these foods are GMO'd. These foods haven't got seeds in anymore. These foods have been sprayed with this chemical to stop it from going bad, but it really goes deeper than that. And some of these chemicals can affect your DNA.
Yeah.
So what is going on? So it's so important for our evolution to stick with nature, to help nature, and to grow with nature, because we are nature. And how people can see themselves as separate, I think, needs to be looked at, because if we don't protect nature right now, at this precipice in this time of our lives, then she's going to rebel. And nature's very strong when she wants to be. And I've been in a tornado here, and believe me, I've been touched by nature, and she's got a wicked sting in her tail. Let me tell you that.
Do you feel that there is a storm brewing in terms of, because you've just touched on something profoundly powerful? If humanity is going against nature, natural law, then obviously it's going to have a repercussion. I mean, there's going to be an incident of some description, which is do you feel something is brewing at the moment? Because I'm not one for listening to, I'm not, I don't do the fear-based stuff, but you can energize things. If people are being influenced by, let's say, the media, then they could energize an event or a situation that will affect the planet. Or do you feel that there's some, in your interpretation, where do you think humanity is at the moment, and where do you see it in the next couple of months? Do you feel that there is a few hurdles, but do you see a beautiful light at the end of the tunnel?
I believe that I mean, the planet is, there are more people waking up to their consciousness now, individually, and collectively it is having an effect on the planet. I do feel that and observe that, and I'm so connected with nature here that if humanity don't pull the socks up and come along with nature, then I think nature's going to do it herself. Because there's cancers and parasites, and there's diseases within our bodies, but they say we are the macro to the micro to the macro, and vice versa. What goes on in our bodies is connected. I mean, the chromosphere around the sun is connected to the chromosomes in our DNA, for example. We know that each planet has a different frequency. We know that we have the chakras. We know that the solar plexus, soul is connected to the sun. We know that the other planets are variously connected, and we know that we've got more than 7. Everything we think, we feel, we do, it goes out there into the collective ether, the Akashic records. Everything is noted, and it's not forgotten, and it's also stored in us as well. Our DNA stores everything, and there's up to 14 generations of our ancestors individually, mine and yours and everybody else's DNA stored in us. 14 generations of our ancestors' DNA. So we are breaking. If none of my ancestors were awake and awake consciously to their soul before me, then it's like we're fixing everything now, aren't we? Because we become awake. It's like we're repairing the family traumas. We are addressing our own personal traumas, and we are healing. It's a healing. It's an individual healing process, and that is also obviously got to have a knock-on effect on the external environment, i.e. the atmosphere, i.e. the planets, the energies, and the energies rising. And I think if we don't, well, to get rid of cancer and parasites and diseases internally within your bodies, you have to take action. And I think externally, it's like we know who the parasites are and the cancers are on this society, don't we? And I think if they're not dealt with or gone soon before the damage is irreparable, I do believe that nature will step in. And I think that, well, if you can't sort it out, then I'm going to sort it out for you all. And I'm afraid the ones that haven't got good intentions.
Yeah.
But I do believe that we go on anyway. So I don't know what's going to happen, but
do you think there is somebody who's aware of it? I mean, we know this wonderful person, Rob Shunande. I mean, he's kind of forecasting an event around about Halloween this year. I mean, in terms of an end, it could be the end to the BS. But is there more to that? Do you feel that if people become more conscious, aware? I always said to Rob, it's more of a celebration, because when you become fully aligned with yourself and understand the uniqueness of what's happening, and that you're not a parasite. In fact, you're more. I mean, when we talk about intrinsic value, like you're the way you're describing what you've become, a vessel right now, which is you are a very powerful instrument that is igniting the truth, and without having to speak, because I'm connected to your tone, I'm connected to your frequency. Of course, there's beautiful value to your words as well, but there is a wonderful frequency behind your presence. And like you were describing earlier, that your day begins with gratitude. I feel that it's the ultimate fabric. My day begins as well. I'm grateful for the experience, and being in that state of mind that you're at peace with yourself, you are affecting the overall planet. I mean, collective consciousness is a funny thing, isn't it? The way it's synchronized, because you're like a transmitter.
Yeah.
So
we are, aren't we? Yeah.
We are. We're affecting ethers, and so fair play, and I'm excited, and we are alkalining that level of toxicity was put on the planet. So I see a beautiful end. Of course, if you're attached to the illusions, if you're attached to that aspect, so you got to de-traumatize yourself, because the separation from your non-biological parents, that's why it's important to ground yourself, isn't it? And you've spoken so highly about nature and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's hard in the winter, isn't it? Let's be honest. You know, it's hard to do in the winter, and I don't do it. But you know, I take the shoes off. As we know, rubber soles invented to disconnect you from the energies of the earth and grounding. So, you know, walk bare feet as much as you can on the grass outside, and of bare soil or grass. You know, I sun gaze as well. I've learnt to sun gaze, and I love sun gazing. Of course, at the moment it's quite difficult because there's things in the way. But they know what's happening. They know what's happening. We know what's happening, and it's like the box of frogs are being opened, and they're just letting anything out and just throwing it at us. You know, I'll have this, I'll have that. It's every direction. And it's meant to muddy the waters. It's meant to be so chaotic that we are completely swirling around and we can't see the wood for the trees, and it's still too much. And no. When you come back to yourself, and I love that when you do. You know, you put your hands together and you think about it. Can't do that. I'm holding the phone with my other hand, but just that simple action of your hands together by your heart in the center of your heart space, it's balanced, and it's about becoming, not every day, you know, I have my moments, but trying to become as balanced as you can, to disconnect from that chaos, all designed to take us away from our true selves. And they don't want us to ascend. They want to keep us here as much as they can in this matrix system. They want us to be connected under this frequency fence of fear, frequency fence of programming, indoctrination, and head battering stuff. But when you free your mind, nothing can touch you, because it's like you're onto them. You're onto it. You switched on now. Everything's ultra picking up. You know, we receive and we send. We receive. We transmit. We receive. You know, pineal gland, even hair, picks up the ether. That's why they call dreadlocks on the Rastafarians. You know, the true melanin. You know. Yeah. You know, the feathers years ago, feathering the cat, the feather picked up things in the air and it connected to the pineal gland. And like the tribal, Indians sometimes, years ago, they didn't used to speak, for example. So everything was telekinesis, telecommunication. We used to communicate with animals, hence Dr. Dolittle, it's everything's, we're tuning in more. We're tuning in, and we're tuning into our feelings. We're tuning into our heart. We're tuning into the right thing to do. We're tuning into being who we always should have been. So they'll try anything to distract us and take us away from ourselves and have us externally, fighting with the banners and wasting your time.
Yeah.
Wasting your time, because we're cleverer than that now.
Yeah.
We're onto them, and we know what they're doing, and we won't be tricked or fooled. So we can't fight the world. We can't make a massive impact, but individually, collectively, if we individually say no, the game's over.
Yeah.
You've flipped the game. You've flipped the Monopoly board, and you've walked away. And the person controlling the Monopoly board, who's the banker, well, even his role is redundant now if there's no players.
Yeah.
So the best thing to do for me is turn away. So there's nothing more impactful than somebody. There's nothing more impactful than being ignored when you want the attention, like a child. Mum, 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 tug, 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 mum, mum. You can't expect people to jump when you want them to jump, and all these rules and regulations and nonsensical things in play at the moment don't make any sense. That's because they don't make sense, because they're designed to take us away from ourselves and get us scratching our heads in confused state thinking, oh? You know, I haven't watched the news for at least 3 years. I don't put it on.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't think there was anything happening in my house. You really wouldn't.
Absolutely.
No fear here. When we
Yeah.
drop the fear, nothing can touch you.
Absolutely.
So, you know, I've even challenged I've been on Anthony Badaloo. I don't know if anybody knows him. He's a warrior, and he challenges the bailiffs as well, in a nice way. He's prepared to pay. You know, he's prepared to. You know, we're prepared to pay anything that we've done wrong for, but please make it a valid court instrument, please. You know, if it hasn't gone through the court process and things like that, don't come at me and trying to get money out of people when they haven't got the valid court instrument. And I think people have been hoodwinked and tricked for so many years that because we're all waking up now, we have the internet, we have the knowledge there, literally at the touch of our fingertips.
Yeah.
So the conscious ones now, we've become conscious. We can't be tricked or fooled anymore. The game's over. It don't work on us anymore. It did. It did for many years, but I'm 56 now. But no more. And that's the change. You know, and individually, if little lights went on in people's heads as to what was going on, wow, it wouldn't work then, would it?
Absolutely. Michelle, thank you so much, because you've obviously igniting the truth, and the truth will set people free, and the truth is within each one of us. You know, it's not outside of ourselves. So first-hand information, when you do that inner work and feel blessed as you are and at peace with yourself, there's a saying, it's not where you live, it's how you live, and it's your attitude to, and how, you know, people they're evasive because they're evasive to themselves. So if you become more and kinder to yourself, then that's what you're going to give out. But I thank you so much, Michelle, for
thank you
bringing your beautiful energy to the platform, and I'm sure this will be the start of bless you. I'd love to invite you again in the foreseeable future and hear you and your beautiful you know, videos that you're putting together with all your beautiful tinctures. I just really appreciate you beyond words. So
it's beautiful. You know, anybody could do it. Anybody can do it. You look after your family's health as much as you can. You know, it's not all the time. We do need emergency treatment. Yes, you know, of course we'll still need that care beyond a tincture, beyond a solve. But let's try and power. You know, let's try and empower ourselves. We can do it. Our ancestors did. Let's keep it going. You know.
Absolutely. Michelle, you're awesome, and I you know, look forward to inviting you back, because your tone, your presence, your authenticity, you're just a beautiful soul, and just so glad that you've appeared and sending, because you're based in the UK, you know, and sending the UK much love. I'm currently based in Bulgaria, so I'm very familiar with the UK, and so you know, sending much love and to the planet, to our viewers from all over the world. and look forward to having
We'll
you
fight
back.
for her.
Absolutely.
We'll look after nature.
Absolutely. See you soon. See you
And
soon.
you, take care. Lots of love.
Bye-bye.
Bioactivator would like to thank you for your kind support and donations. Through Barrett Tunyan's guardianship of this platform, his activation of truth harmonizes, neutralizes, and unblocks the meridians that connect, balance, and purify all that comes in contact. Do no harm is the key that fully opens the heart's voice to be in the union of the I Am presence, and will represent every living organism on the planet whose voice would otherwise not be heard. Remember, the truth will set you free. Do no harm, cause no loss, and do not impose upon the freedom of others. Love, light, and gratitude.